Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Bang and Donuts. I'm Mr. Christopher. I'm Vinny Bang Donuts.
I'm Bangs Michael.
Mr. Christopher.
All right, guys. So today is episode 14, I believe. That's 14. That's technically 15 weeks we've had the show. 14 episodes. I think we missed 1 week, maybe I don't know, somewhere around there.
The bye week.
Yeah, we had a bye week in the middle of the season there. So let's kick it off
Chris
by
doesn't know
just.
what a bye week is.
No, he has no idea.
No idea.
Is
It's
that like a week where you celebrate people's sexuality?
Yes, it's a week where
Yes.
you
Yes.
lick vagina and suck a dick.
At the same time.
At the same time.
Fair.
Yes.
Fair.
Um,
So you know what? You know what, guys? I quit. Just kidding. On the pre-show, you guys are all really down. What's going on? Why? You guys are all like bummers.
I am a
Why are
bummer.
you guys so negative Nancy's? What's going on?
I don't know. I don't have a lot of energy today. Well, if you like have watched my stream at least somewhat consistently over the last 8 months or so, or know me at all, you know I go through my funks. Where I get into heavy depression and shit, and I'm on the verge of getting deep into that again, where I'm starting to it's fuck my head again. I got a lot going on, a little bit of stress, and yeah, I feel my depression crawling in, and it usually takes me about a week to get out of that funk. So
Oh,
basically, that's what's going on with me. There's some other things too, but it's whatever.
bangs.
Yeah.
It's time, it's time for
Basically the same, it just
yeah.
I don't know, just haven't been feeling today. Like I said on Twitter earlier today, I'm just not feeling it today.
Yeah.
So no good reason, no explanation. It's just I got a case of the Mondays on the Fridays.
It's not the
Yeah.
right day for that.
You know what's fun?
Absolutely
You
not
know
the
what's
right
fun,
day.
Bangs? You
Well,
know what's
when you don't have a fucking job every day is the
well, I was just about to say. I was just about to say. You know what's great when, with like guys like us who don't have jobs? It doesn't matter what day. Every day of the week's almost the same. It's
Mhm.
there's no difference between a Monday,
ebb and
Friday, or
flow.
Sunday, other
Yeah.
than
Well,
what's
that
on
has to be
television.
depressing.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, technically, I guess I have a job now, but we gotta wait for all that to, the background checks and all that stuff. Once they find these videos from the past few weeks, I'm sure my offer will be retracted. So
you've got a job, but you're not working yet.
no.
No. Yeah, it's weird because it could be like a summer vacation type of situation. You get to do whatever you want, or it could just be freaking boredom out of your mind. Like, having a job, it's just like, oh yay, Friday. It's all the typical bullshit. It's like, oh, Friday's the best, and the weekends, oh, it's too short, and oh, I got a case of the Mondays, and it's like, oh, hump day. I don't know.
Well, you know what's funny with the whole weekend thing? I used to literally fucking hate people like, oh, it's Friday, it's the weekend. Those Monday through Friday people, because up until this job I'm getting now was the job I left, and up until the last 6 months of that job, I had Saturday, Sunday, Monday off. The first time I ever had like weekends off. So I used to always like get so pissed with, oh, it's Friday night, 'cause my weekends were always in the middle of the week. So I used to just get fucking annoyed. I'm getting up on Saturday. I was like, shut the fuck up. But we'll see what happens. I had a drive on Monday. I had to drive to Pennsylvania because that's where the job is. I'll be moving back out to Pennsylvania. Um, and I had to go update like my profile or something like that if I get too much into detail, and pick up my drug screening form and go do that. And I was just gonna bring it back here because it's the labs are it's there's Quest Nat whatever they're all over the place. Um, I drove
It's
about
part of who I work for
oh
actually.
really? I drove about two and a
Yeah.
half hours and I was there for 10 minutes. Like I knew that was kind of happening. It's my fault. I live that far away. What am I gonna do? I have to go. But just it was so shitty. Like I drove all the way there and I had to piss. I was gonna hold my pee because I was just gonna go get the test. I had to piss so bad when I got there. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just go here and I'll be in there for like a half hour or so. And by the time I get over to the lab, I'll have to go again. So I went to the bathroom and pissed like a racehorse. And then I was only in there for 10 minutes. I just had to like click some things on the computer that I probably could have did at home. I just had to get that form. And the lab
If only
technically
there's a
closed.
way to get the form to you
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like
electronically.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of those
If
ones
only
that
there
like
was some system.
But it was one of those forms that had like the multi-layer thing. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a copy.
Carbon copy.
Yeah,
What?
If only there was a way to make
yeah.
copies.
and yeah, I don't know. There's like barcodes they scanned. I don't know. I don't know how those fucking things work. Yeah, so I did that, and then I got the sheet where the lab was, and it was already closed. This was already like they closed at like 2, and it was already like 3 something. And then I saw there's another one in the same town that was open till 4. I'm like, you know what? Let me just go get this out of the way. So I go there, and I don't have to piss yet. I'm like, God, I don't want to go. And she starts. They close at 4. It was already like 3:30. I'm like, I don't want to have her waiting forever, and then just say fuck it, and then already like ripped apart the paperwork or did signing and shit, and I had to go all the way back get another paper. So I get in there, I sign in, and it was so great because there was only one woman there, and she wasn't bad looking either. I was hoping she'd help me in the bathroom with my penile. And so I sat down, and there was an old man like across from me, and he got called in first. There's just the 2 of us, and he got called into the back. So I'm like, okay, I have some time. Not only did I have time, I ended up sitting there for an hour because this old man had to get like 4 tests done. And I guess 2 of the tests, or one of the tests they didn't even offer there, and another one like his insurance didn't cover, so they had to call the doctors and all this stuff. So they're on hold with the doctor. And I hear this whole conversation because he's half deaf, he's speaking loud, and she has to speak loud to him. And all I hear is, "I'm not fucking going anywhere. I'm doing all these tests right here." He's like, "I'm not leaving. I came all the way here. You're doing these tests." She's like, "Sir, we
And
don't
it's probably
offer
just
this
a general
test."
lab, right? So they're doing they do all kinds of
they
stuff.
do blood and yeah. But
He's
whatever
out there
he had
getting a
to
piss
do.
test for his surveillance job.
Yeah, so I don't know
Not
what
listen
the
to
hell.
crying babies when he's trying to jerk off into a cup.
No. But it was nice though because it bought me like an hour on top of the hour I was already up there, and I was able to piss just enough, like just she even looked at it was like I don't know, but it filled the cup just enough, and so I did that, and then got together with some of my old friends out there, went to dinner, so it wasn't like a 2 hour and a half drive for nothing, at least spent a couple hours up there, then drove all the way back.
Is that the drive that you're gonna have to make until you get a job? I mean,
I'm not
a
going to
place to
commute
live?
that every day. I'm either I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but my aunt lives about an hour out in North Jersey, and I have a couple friends there that when I got the job originally, like a couple of years ago, I didn't like know anyone. So now I know people, and if I need to crash, and what's nice is it's 3 10s. So for right now, I really need only 3 nights. Let's assume my days off are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday morning, those days I'll spend here where I am now, and then Friday morning, I'll leave early and just drive that 2.5 hours. I would need Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and then Monday after work, I would just drive all the way back here. So I need like 3 nights until I, find an apartment and all that stuff. We'll see what happens. I have this feeling in my gut. I don't know why. I just have this feeling in my gut that somehow something went wrong, and I'm not gonna. Maybe it's because my year's been shit all year, and I just got this bad feeling. I don't know why. We'll see what happens though. At the end of the day, if something happens, I'm in the same position I've been in. So
Chris and I read the chat at the same time. We're like, well, fuck you too.
Hi, Super B-Rad.
what happened?
Yes, Super B-Rad asked what the topic was, and Kristopher told him it was our wonderful personalities, and Super B-Rad's response was, oh, and a unhappy face.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, so
well, B-Rad's here for topics, not us.
apparently. Better get out Super Mario Maker. We're gonna do viewer levels live on the talk show.
Yeah, we're gonna multi-Twitch. Every one of us is gonna play the level.
That's right. We need
That's gonna be
the
great.
follows and the views.
The follows and
But
views
Vin-
that cost us months of streaming to waste, basically.
Yeah, basically.
You were playing different games recently, Vinny.
Yeah,
What were you playing?
I'm completely done with Mario Maker. Other than like if Mathis or Frank Toast asked me to do like viewer level races, because it's not even about the game. Then it's just getting on Discord and fucking around. I'm just bored with the game. If you listen to the show or just listen to me or Bang, like I've kind of been over the game, but I literally can't play it because it just my fingers won't push those buttons because I've been playing it for like a year. And
Wow.
it's too much. You play it so much. And
It sounds like It sounds like trying to have sex with a limp dick, basically, right? Is that
Or-
how that
or
is for
just-
you right now?
You keep fucking like a really ugly woman. Um, like a real fat, sweaty slob.
I can't even watch the game anymore, to be honest.
I can't. I don't. Unless
I have
it's
a hard
someone I
time.
really like, I don't even watch it either. Like
Yeah.
I realize I follow people that play Mario Maker, and I think they're some of them are good people. It's just I don't watch them because I just can't watch the game.
Yeah.
I'm full on sick of it.
So what are you playing now?
I'm moving around. I've been playing some H1Z1 this week. What else did I play?
Isn't
That's,
that game
that's
a
been
little-
fun. I've enjoyed watching that.
Isn't it a little old at this point? How is it just, or is it?
Well, H1Z1 has been in development for past couple years. The team, what happened was, now there's no like definitive reason for this, but it's a survival game, survival crafting game, like your 7 Days to Dies, your Arcs. It's one of those type of games, and zombies and all that bullshit. And what happened was, somewhere along the line, it was owned by Sony. Daybreak used to be owned by Sony, but they're independent now. What happened along the line is they implemented a multiplayer feature it was multiplayer in the sense that you guys could build together and you could kill each other if you wanted to, like a typical survival game. But they did like a battle royal multiplayer like option, and it just put you and like 150 people, whatever, on the ground, and there's no zombies. You basically just killed each other. That took off and was so popular that Daybreak decided to make 2 games. They cut the game in half, and it was H1Z1 Survival and H1Z1 King of the Kill. So it's 2 games now. And what happened was they pretty much
Neither of which
focused.
will ever be done.
No, neither would. Yeah, exactly. And the King of the Kill pretty much gets all the funding and gets all because that's the most popular one. Survival, they haven't updated in I don't know how long, and because it's one of those games where it gets such mixed. It's so buggy, such mixed reviews. It makes you angry, but for some reason, when you play it, you get this enjoyment. And I think I factored it to it. It gives you that adrenaline rush of after you get past the first wave of when you drop down. If you're unfamiliar with the game, you parachute in with nothing, and it's pretty much a mad fucking bloodbath to try to find the first gun or helmet or whatever. And then as soon as you get that gun, if you see someone walking around, you're killing them. But once you get past, like you drop with like 180 people, within like the first 2 minutes, half the people are dead. But once you get past that initial rush, and then it's a lot of running. You don't see anyone, but you start seeing that counter of deaths going down, and your position is getting higher and higher, and it just builds the suspense. And then you don't know. Then the gas comes in and it puts you in this little corner, and it's like you don't know where anyone is, and then you see someone, and it just builds suspense and adrenaline. And that's why I think what makes it a good game. I think that's why people tolerate all the bugs and shit. For right now, anyway.
It's kind of lame that people are companies are putting out games that are just half finished. And like, oh, this is the alpha version. Oh, this is the beta version. It's like,
but it's
why don't you
$20.
fucking finish it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got DLC.
If you're charging for it, it needs to be done.
I see the both sides of the argument. There's pros and cons. Right now, there's a lot more cons because people are taking advantage of it. Like, I see some games that are in beta and coming out with fucking DLC. You should not be coming off DLC or charging people that type of stuff for that. Now, I understand if it's a small studio and they have a great idea and they have a beta pretty much, and they just need the funding. Like, they can't make the game. I kind of get that, and you see that with some of these games that take off. Because they just need the funding, so they have to put it out there. But they don't, they say, hey, this is in beta. You'll continue to get updates. But they're not coming out with the DLC or the fucking... Too many studios are hiding... What happened is that not that AAA, but that next level down is taking advantage of the beta.
Although so are the AAAs anymore.
Yeah, so are the AAAs, really. It used to be, if you're a small studio of like 3-5 people or whatever, and you want to release something in beta, that's fine because you need the extra funding. But if you're a big studio of like 60 plus, you put something out on beta if you need it. If you need legit testing, put it out on beta. But don't start charging for DLC or cosmetic packs or something. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. Agreed.
But I don't know.
I've enjoyed watching it. I think like you said, it's the adrenaline rush of the speed of the game, but also every like match or whatever is pretty quick. I think they're, maybe, well, you had one that went 30 minutes
If
somehow,
you,
but
well, I ended up. It might have been the one I won. Or if you're in like top 5, it ends up going a while. But
does it?
and I like how it keeps track of your top 5. That's your like the rating. I take your top 10. It like rates like every time you have a
Right.
better top 10, it stays in. You can't go down in rank. You only go up. So it's kind of cool. Like you kind of want to push to the next tier. Like right now I'm in gold. I want to get into like platinum and stuff. And I don't know. It's a fun game. It's a game I was never going to stream because I just was interested in the game. And let's be honest, it's like always in the top row or second row of Twitch. You're never going to be found on that. You're just going to be buried.
Right.
I had no intention of streaming. It was just going to be a personal game. But I was like, fuck it. If I'm going to play it, why not stream it a little bit? And
Yeah.
I enjoyed playing it, so I kept streaming it. I'm under no illusion I'm going to get like new followers or anything from it.
I mean,
It's fun to watch. I've enjoyed it. That's all I can say.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
I need to catch that. You're always on when I'm at work.
Yeah,
Damn
it's
it.
a time zone thing.
Yeah.
You need to be on at like even like Lucid Fox type of hours.
Well,
So at least I
what's
can
funny
catch
about-
you before work.
when if I start this new job, I'm gonna be on the swing shift, which is 10 hours, so it's 2 to midnight. So I have the option in my I can either stream at like midnight Eastern Standard Time, like late, or I can go before I go and work, which would almost be the same, like 10 a.m. ish, my time. So whatever that just
Right.
I gotta figure out what.
Yeah, so yeah, you gotta really figure out a schedule.
If I'm going to continue to stream, who knows? Maybe I need to focus on my life. I'm be making good money again, and streaming has been not to take up all the fucking talking time right now. But streaming has definitely been maybe factor in depressed right now. Like I've always been depressed, but like I said when we started the show, I go in through my waves and I start going into my shell, and I'm on the verge. I'm on that shell edge. That's probably gonna take me a week to get out of again. I'm probably gonna go deeper the next couple of days. I know how it works, and I could talk myself out of it, but it's gonna happen. But we all talked about the Mario Maker fake follows, but besides that, I can't find a game I want to stream. Like the games I would want to stream and have fun with, everyone else is streaming. So if from a bit, not, I don't want to say business, but okay, let's call it a business standpoint. You need that right game and that right niche, and I look at that area where I could get viewers and whatever, and none of those games interest me. So I don't know where to go. And I can stream just for fun regardless, but you guys know streaming is hard. It's a lot of work. You gotta be entertaining, you gotta talk, and it is hard. Like I can only come up. Yeah, you can only come up with so much material on your own because a lot of the streamers, like, they play off chat, they talk to chat, they make jokes, but the chat engages and you make jokes, and so it fills up time, it fills up material.
Right.
When you stream to 4 people, those days of 20, 30, 40 people watch you play Mario Maker are over because I'm not playing them. And we've talked in depth on how that's kind of a fake audience. Those people there Twitch for their reasons. And it's awesome. It's there. That's how they're using Twitch, but it shows you like, oh, I have amassed 800 and something followers from that game, or a little bit here and there. But then I could play something else. It's 4 or 5 people, which is kind of like out of those 8. I know people have different times. People have their own lives, but I'm saying consistently, if it's only that 4 or 5 people. And don't get me wrong, I love those people. I've made a close relationship with them, and those people kind of know who they are. And you get people here and there come in, but that just shows you that those guys cared more for that game, and that's fine. Like they cared more for Super Mario, which is fine. That's why they're on Twitch. Like I don't want to go on Twitch and be told what to watch or who to watch. That's fine. But what it shows is they're there more for that game than you. So it kind of sucks where it's those empty follows. So I just wasted all those months of all that hard work and time that I got to build again. And the games that will help you build those communities, I'm just not interested in those games. So I don't know what I want to do. Like part of me just doesn't even want to stream anymore. It's hard. It's hard thinking not streaming because I'm always thinking about streaming, but I don't know. It's like, do you want to put in that time and effort? And
I was talking to another streamer today, and we were talking about this issue, and it's like, if you want viewers, you either have to be doing like speed runs of old games, you have to be playing one of the new hot games that someone just wants to see played, and they don't necessarily care about you as much as seeing like the new game, and then they latch on to you, just kind of like
Yeah.
Super Mario Maker does. Or you have to be insanely good at the game where people are like, oh my god, this is so good, I have to watch this. And anything beyond that, it's really difficult to get like new people in. And I was it's a problem. It's like, okay, well, what do I want any of that as a streamer? Do I want to be involved in any of those 3 or 4 categories? And if you don't, then it's like, oh, well, then I don't know if I want to stream, unless you want to be part of a talk show, and that's not a video
Well,
game thing. That's
like you said, there's like you could be like really really good at a game, and those people catch on, or speed running. My whole thing isn't that like I'm okay at video games. I'm not amazing. I don't speed run anything. I try to build through just being real, being myself, trying to be funny, be entertaining, and I think I can do that. I sometimes I'm boring. I know, like we all are, and sometimes I get depressed. But for the most part, I feel like I can put on a funny, entertaining stream. For the most part, it's not so much. It's more trying to find a place where people can find you. That's what it is. No one's just gonna find you. You could do your show for a year.
true.
If you're playing the wrong game, or it's a lot of it is luck. A lot of it is luck. I feel like if I can get new eyeballs, I can get those follows because I offer some form of entertainment through either humor or just being a real person, like not trying to put on a character, just talking real.
Right.
Right.
And being open. Like I talk about my personal life so much, and I think that's a little bit refreshing. People don't talk about their personal lives, and that's fine. Not that someone should have to. It's just that's my type of style. But you need those eyeballs, and it's all about finding those eyeballs. Where do you find them? So that's the problem. You can never play a new game. A new game just comes out unless you already have a strong base following. It doesn't work. You just get buried. You'll never be found.
I don't know if that's exactly true, because with Super Mario Maker,
You can't put Super
go
Mario
and
Maker in that category. Super Mario Maker at any time has 20 to 30 channels, and each person that community. I was looking at the other day, that community is dying. Like there's the top row, and then everyone has like 10 or less
I
viewers.
agree.
But there's only 25 to 30 channels. Now a top game, like say Resident Evil 7 just came out. That's a top game. If you're gonna play that, there's
sure.
hundreds of people streaming that. You would never get found. Mario Maker's an anomaly where there's only 25 to 30 or maybe at most 40 channels going at once.
Right. Well, you don't think someone's just gonna say, oh, I like this game, I'm gonna see what I'm not gonna watch the top person. Maybe I'm tired of watching the top person. I'm just gonna lurk around and see what I could find, and maybe some of the other ones. See if I can find a hidden gem.
Yeah, but
do you
that's
think
that's a rarity.
Yeah, I've noticed a demographic slant to that, because I do obviously playing older games. I do get some of those people come through, and I always ask people, how did you find us? Because like right now I'm playing Mario Galaxy 2, which is not on the top of anybody's list. How did you find us? And I have people tell me they scroll through as fast as they can until they see something that you don't normally see, and then they go check it out, and then maybe so a lot of times I'm the only person playing it, or maybe there's only 3 or 4 people playing it, and they find that middle range person, watch for a couple minutes, see if they like it, and then all of a sudden the follow alert goes off, and this person you didn't even know was there is now like in your stream every day. But I've noticed that that person is our age, and the average Twitch viewer is much younger.
I didn't think
So
about that as far as ages.
I think over time, Twitch is relatively new concept when you think about it. I mean, I know that Twitch and Justin TV have been around for, I don't know, like 10 years, but as far as mainstream and like everybody sort of being able to be a part of it, be it content creators or viewers, it's relatively new in the last few years that we sort of reached that level of access, I guess. So I think over time we'll see sort of an aging of the demographic, and people being more open to finding new things. But I feel like right now it's just that youth culture, I guess, that I don't want to say millennials, because two or three of us technically are, but that sort of, I think I don't know if we talked about it on this show, or maybe we talked about it offline, but the surface relationship, the curated personality and the curated access and the curated persona, and everyone's sort of presenting this phoniness. So Vinny talked about how he wants to the crux of his stream is that he's real and he's honest, and it's an open conversation, and it's a forum, and it's a dialogue, and it's people just sort of hanging out and being cool. And I think amongst us and our demographic, that's sort of what we look for. But most of the people on Twitch are looking for a more I don't know another word for it, a phoniness, a fake excitement, a fake energy, a fake.
Is it different than any reality show that's fake?
No, that's a perfect
or like-
analogy. I mean,
Yeah, or just
reality
the news.
shows-
Watch the news. You look at the
Yeah.
anchor and you think that's a real person, a real personality. That's
yeah,
that's
Well,
valid point.
you have to have something to like, you can't just act and be a completely different person. You have to relate to it at some point as an actor. Yeah, there has to be like a small bit of truth. But yeah, I mean, I'm not arguing. I think they're a bunch of fake people, just there
and
to
it's
get.
it's not about them being fake. It's the culture of that generation of like reality is too troublesome. You know what I mean? Like real emotions and real problems are too difficult. We don't want to feel, I guess. Like all of these big, not all of them, a lot of these big streamers that have what I would call surface streams, their Discord channels, every single one of them has something to the effect of adult conversations. They have a channel dedicated to, not safe spaces, to use a cliche. And I love them. I love that channel on every single one of these Discords. It's like that'll be the only channel in their entire community that I pay any attention to. But you notice it's like 5 to 10 people out of their, say, 3,000 followers, and they're all, our age.
I haven't come across those, and that'd be nice to know. Like, you could tell me later if there's any of the people that that I know.
Yeah.
And maybe I could look, because I've gone into people's Discords, man, and it's just like there's this one big streamer who got partnered recently, and his Discord is just a bunch of really young kids.
well,
And I can't relate to them. It's just like,
Yeah.
I think
it's
we
the
have
kind of people. I'm sorry, Vinny. I was just gonna say it's the kind of
Okay.
people who got on his Discord voice while he was playing Super Mario Kart, and they're saying things like LOL, and they're saying Kappa, and then they're saying feels bad, man, and it's like, I can understand typing that shit, but
They're
you don't really
actually
say
saying
that.
LOL.
They're actually saying the words, and I'm like, really,
um
really?
I hate it when they say lol.
yeah, I don't get that
Yeah.
at all.
I don't-
I think we have different, like, what we would consider bigger streamers. If someone's just getting partnered, they're not a big streamer. Like, they're technically bigger than us, but I don't
Well,
consider
big
that.
enough.
I don't consider that
Well,
big
no.
streamer.
Yeah,
Like,
I
I'm
think
not
you
taking
know who
anything
I'm
away from
talking
them.
about, but
I kind of don't, but I kind of don't, but I kind of do, I kind of don't. But they're bigger than us, obviously. We're minuscule,
Yeah.
but I don't consider that big streamer. I'm not taking anything away from them. I'm just saying.
no.
When I say big streamer, just for reference anyway, when I say big streamer, when I use that analogy, I'm talking about the Co-Carnages, the Eloheims, those of Twitch, the Summits, and Summits
those
way
are-
up there, but
Those aren't big streamers. Those are like super
Okay.
heavyweights.
yeah, that's true.
They're
But
in another. I mean,
What's the difference?
when I say
because they
big
have
streamer,
they have like thousands of viewers at
well,
any given
Elohim
time
has about
compared to
380,000 followers. Co-Carnage has
I
almost
love-
700.
I love Angry Pug. I like him a lot.
I watched him a little bit. He played a lot of Dead by Daylight. When I was into that game, I watched him play
Yeah.
that a little bit.
He's got a great personality, but well, at least
And those
you know,
guys,
on stream.
I just named, I like them because they're more real. They're more my personality. They don't put on a fake persona or act fake or suck a dick or anything. They're just real guys.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I can't watch them anyway because their chats are all notice me senpais.
Oh yeah.
You
Well,
know,
it's
and
weird
I just don't have the
because
patience.
Well,
for
it's
that.
funny when I watch guys like that, I don't even look at chat. Like, chat does nothing for
Yeah.
me. I just
Yeah.
I watch them for them and what they're playing, their show. I
Yeah.
look at it as I'm watching their show. I'm not watching chat.
it's funny. I see them as like, oh, someone donates $20. Oh, thanks for that donation, and he just goes. He barely spends 2 seconds on thanking you because he gets so many donations. And
Ooh, Angry Pug.
Yeah. Or at least
Okay.
the few times that I've seen him get donations, he doesn't go like crazy over it like I do. I'm like, oh my god, thank you, do backflips and shit like that,
Yeah.
for my $2 donation. But it's like, he gets $20, and it's like, oh, and his top donor was like $1,000 or something. I mean,
Mm.
this guy does not work for a living. He streams for a living,
Well, no,
and
he's working.
well, yeah,
You
he's
know what I'm
working.
saying?
He
That's
does it for
more.
8 hours a day or whatever.
To
Yeah, that's
maintain
But
a
work.
I mean,
channel, yeah, to maintain a channel like that, it's work. It's more than a full time. They
Yeah.
put in more hours than a 40-hour work week.
Yeah.
They might not be streaming for 40 hours, but the time it takes to manage a channel like that. Hell, when you
Yeah.
get that big, you get fucking agents almost. That's that borderline thing. I know they were talking about TwitchCon there was like a panel I was watching, and it's like some of these guys are getting so big, and they're between revenue and then promotions, sponsorships, shit like that they need like almost a business manager to take their brand at this point.
or some sort of help, outside
Yeah.
help.
And probably don't have the experience or knowledge to do it themselves in many cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Super B
Yeah.
Red says, you got to decide what your goal is for stream. What your goal is streaming is. Oh, god damn it! You got to decide what your goal in streaming is. Then go.
And he's
for
a
it
college
there.
educated man, ladies
I
and
am.
gentlemen.
I'm in it for fun. If someone wants to watch, awesome. I am. Like I say that all the time on my stream. I'm a college educated male, and I can't read.
Educated.
I'm educated male. Can't read. And that's yeah. I agree with B Red. Like, I think it's because I got into streaming for multiple reasons. I just thought it was fun. I knew I can do it. And we've talked about this before, so we don't have to get that in depth with it. A lot of that time I've been streaming, I've been unemployed. So this has been like my only outlet. And not that I was looking, I'm going to have a career in fucking streaming. But I put more energy into it, and I just wanted that, if, instead of sitting home all day, I wanted to build that community that people know each other and we have fun, and when it go, I don't need to be that guy streaming for thousands and stuff, but at
Right.
the same time I don't want to stream for 4. Now once I start working at more full-time, I'm focused more on my job, and streaming then becomes a side hobby, and it's like, okay, if I'm playing the game anyway, if I'm streaming for 2 people, fine, maybe I'll get that headset. Right now, since this has been the only thing I've really been doing, so I put a lot of energy in it, and I want to grow, and you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it gets disappointing when the thing that you put most of your energy into isn't
Exactly.
doing what you want it to do.
And I put in
Yeah,
not to cut you. I'm sorry.
No,
But
you're
like
fine.
a lot of people stream, and I'm not saying anyone in particular. It's just anyone. Anyone can stream. They push that share button on PlayStation or Xbox, or anyone. Even if you do PC, you just push start streaming. Maybe you have some shitty overlays. Like I put a lot. Like I know you guys do. Like I put a lot of time and energy into this stream, and just setting up different things, trying out different things. Like maybe include a soundboard, which I started doing a little bit. Just testing that out, or just different things, like different programs. Like you put a lot of time and energy, when some people will just stream for fun as a hobby, and that's awesome. Like that's what's amazing about Twitch. You can come home and just push start streaming and do your thing.
Right.
But that's all that they're coming. They have the original setup, and that's all they're doing. Like I know, like you guys, I know Bangs and you, Chris. Like you're thinking of streaming when you're not streaming. You're thinking, how can I improve my quality, my visuals, like everything.
Yeah.
So when you put all that work into it, and you see, unfortunately, be it fate, unluckiness, or just being bad, I don't know, but the payoffs aren't coming in after you spend months and months. I know streaming is a long process. It takes more. Sometimes it takes years. But when you start going, I don't know. It's a roller coaster like anything else. But
Yeah.
it seems like lately it's a lot more downs than ups.
Yeah, I mean, I've got that 40-hour a week job, and I still manage. I'm lucky. I'm still able to stream a lot of nights a week, whether it's on my channel or another channel. And I mean, it is a hobby to me, but I mean, also, like, I do put in that time where I'm gonna go into Photoshop, and I'm gonna make something that looks pretty nice and stick it on my stream, and I'm gonna go and do the video and all that kind of stuff. So
Photoshopping is hard. For me anyway. I would do one little thing, and it will take me in like an hour.
Yeah. I'm trying to get better at Photoshop. It takes me forever.
I'm lucky. I took a class in it, so
Oh, there you go.
you know, I took a college course in it for I was trying to get into web design, and now I have no interest in web design because it's design. I don't want to do like visuals like stuff for like magazines or anything like that. So I don't want to. I mean, I know what looks good to me, but you know, I like things that are raw and not as polished, and people want to touch up their photos and do all this lighting balance and this like look, it looks great. I don't need to do all that shit. So that's kind of a tangent, but it's like, yeah, Photoshop extremely powerful, but that learning curve, man.
Yeah, like sometimes I just want to like copy an image. Like I want to just copy an image. I want to duplicate it, and it seems like I got to create a new layer, and I don't know how that works. So I got to create a new layer, and then I have to, and then it, I don't know, it never comes out right. My brother's taking a class right now, like literally right now in college in his last semester. He's doing a whole Photoshop thing, and I guess he'll be my photo guy after he graduates.
Dude, I tried to do like I was in a rock band, and I tried to do a video, like a music video. And we had all these different types of cameras. I had this really nice HD camera, and then we used this, you know, like the old what is it? The old regular cameras have a movie mode, and you could do video, but it's all grainy.
Yeah.
And you know, we got all this stuff and kind of mixed it together. But like when I was doing it, my computer was so slow that I had to like I couldn't edit it in like real time. Like I couldn't just push a button, see what my edits do. I had to render like 10 seconds of the video, see what it looked like, make adjustments to the source, and then re-render it. And it took me like a month to do a music video, but God damn it, I know how to run Sony Vegas Pro.
Do you remember the iMac? What were they called? iMac 4s? They were like big cubes. It was everything was one unit. It was a monitor, and your they were different colors, and they were kind of translucent. I think they were called iMac 4s. We had them in high school. They were like buggy as shit. They didn't work worth a damn, but Apple convinced like all of education in America to buy them. And we had stuff. Yeah, we had my graphic design class. That's all we had. And it was just like that. We had to make a video, and we were doing the stop motion animation thing. So we're having to take, we're taking, you know, 1 million shots basically, right? Because we're doing stop motion. And then when we go to edit it, and you've got to edit all you don't even, it's not even seconds. You're literally editing fractions of a second up. And it was the same thing. Not only did you have to render it 10 seconds at a time, classes, you know, only whatever, 45 minutes, let's say.
Yeah.
The damn computer's crashing like every 5 minutes, and it takes 20 minutes to start up. And we didn't even get done. It didn't even get finished because we simply couldn't do it on those damn, I can't even remember what we were recording on. Somebody must have had a camcorder. I don't even remember what we were recording on, but yeah.
You know, while I was doing video work recently, because I was making some GIFs for my channel for the follow notifications and things like that, I realized that if you want to make those GIFs that have a transparent background where you don't see the background, you just see the person dancing or whatever, like GIFs have like, the one that I use has like 70 frames, okay? So for every single one of those frames, you have to go and cut out the background basically manually.
Oof.
And I'm like, screw that. I'm never going to do that. Because it's like for 70 pictures, basically, you have to do that. And I'm like, man, these people who put time into doing shit like that I can't
There's
even
no
imagine.
program where you can put that picture in and just like have it render a transparent background.
Probably.
I mean, Photoshop will do a lot of it. If the background is out of focus from the foreground, Photoshop is pretty good about identifying the general outline. But like using Mr. Kristopher right now, there's this little section between, you know, his headset cord and his face that would be, because Photoshop's going to come up around his shoulder, up the cord, over the headset. So you got this patch of green in here, and then there's this patch of green here where the headset comes over the top. So you'd have all these little sections that you'd have to go in and manually, and that's if the background is significantly has a significantly different focal length than the foreground.
Like I'm sitting in front of a green screen, which green screens are made to be
And
able
you
to
pick the
take
green
out,
background.
you could take out so if you got someone dancing against a similar color background, you're never going to do it unless you do it like manually.
Yeah.
And manual photoshopping is just, it's tedious. So let's say it took, for the 70 frames, it took 5 minutes or 2 minutes for every frame. Whether it was that, it's 140 minutes that you're going to spend doing that. It's like, I don't know
Yeah.
about that. It's possible. It's just,
a lot of
it's not in
time.
my cards. It's not into my cards.
So let's move on from bitching and moaning and tech stuff. We
Happy.
were talking
Happy.
before the show about what were we talking about? We were talking about games, I guess. Let's get into some
Yeah.
games. This is a
Sure.
Yeah. Well,
Twitch
I
is a gaming
was asking
format.
you, Vinny, you've been playing some different games recently. You playing H1Z1,
Yeah.
and I saw you're playing that prison one that you make stuff.
Prison game.
You're playing all sorts of games. So.
Well, he's playing RimWorld, which is like Prison
RimWorld.
Architect. I was playing Prison Architect for a minute.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah. No, I wanted to ask was we were talking about like, our love for games a little bit, and
Sure.
kind of the question that we were beating around on pre-show. Is there any game or any particular game that sticks it out for you that, hey, I love games, like this gaming thing, they're onto something here? Is there anything that stands out in your memory of when you first started gaming that drew you into video games?
The first. Well, see, I had an Atari like 2600, and then I got the Atari 7800, which is supposed to be double or triple or whatever. And I think back then the game that really sticks out for me then was Joust. Joust is a really fun game, and I'd play it with my friends and stuff like that. But like the one that really drew me in was, of course, the first Super Mario Brothers. I had these Ataris, and I saw the Nintendo came out. I was like, oh my god, I have to get this. I was begging my parents forever to get it, and I would do chores to get quarters to go down to the Circle K and play Super Mario Brothers. I'd wash dishes. She gave me 2 quarters or something like that, and pick up the dog crap. You get $1 or something, and I would just walk down there and I'd use my 2 quarters, and I'd be there for half an hour and then I'd go back home. And Super Mario Brothers was like the shit for me. I spent so much time on that. So like when we were talking about this in the pre-show, I was looking up like popular games of each Nintendo system because I was a Nintendo guy. And like, so let's go back to the SNES. Like there was Chrono Trigger, there was A Link to the Past. Zelda Link to the Past is one of my favorites. I love that game. Love that. And Super Metroid. Those were the 2 Super Nintendo games that were like my jams. Just amazing. I don't know if you guys were like super into those or what. I mean, were they around your time, or were they kind of retro when you started playing games?
No, that was right in my wheelhouse. I mean, I started on the NES.
Yeah.
Well, then even that's not true. Before that, I started on this Pac-Man machine at the diner steakhouse joint that we used to go to like every week for dinner. There was it was a Miss Pac-Man. They had a Miss Pac-Man, I think a Galaga, and then they had those sticker machines. You put in 50 cents and you slide in the thing and the cardboard would come out and have like the holographic sticker on the inside.
Nice.
And I used to play that Pac-Man machine all the time. But yeah, I was 3 or 4 when we got an NES. And my dad's a compulsive buyer, so we had like 50 games for it. So I mean, I'm with you. It was like Super Mario Brothers and Excite Bike and Paperboy and Hogan's Alley and all that. And then when the Super Nintendo came out, by then my parents had split, so they weren't as loosey goosey with their money anymore. But we had the Super Nintendo, and we had Mario World and Mario All Stars, and I had the Super Game Boy adapter, so all my Game Boy games were now Super Nintendo games, kind of thing.
I wish I had that. I wanted that.
It was
so
great. And I had a ton of. We went on road trips all the time, so I had a ton of Game Boy games because every time we'd go on a trip, my mom would buy me a couple Game Boy games to make it usually to Montana, to sort of make it there before I wanted to kill somebody. And so by the time that Super Game Boy adapter came out, I had like 30 Game Boy games.
Nice. Like,
Yes.
yeah, Game Boy. I spent so much time on the Game Boy too. Like Tetris, man.
Yeah,
just,
everybody
just,
had.
yeah, just shitty old Tetris. It was like crazy. And then there's like the Final Fantasy, whatever, Legend, Final
Legends, yeah.
Fantasy, Adventure, and things like that. Those games are
Mhm.
great. And I'm just looking at this list of like Super Nintendo games. I mean, yeah, you got Chrono Trigger, Super Mario World, A Link to the Past. You have
Mhm.
freaking Super Mario RPG,
Yeah.
Super Metroid, of course. Secret of Mana. I spent a lot of time. I love that game. It's like the music in that game is great.
I missed a lot of
And
those games when they were new. I played a lot of them after the fact, like years later, on emulators mostly.
I don't know.
like, go ahead, Vinny.
No, I was gonna say like I'm a little bit younger than you guys, but I remember owning a Sega Genesis, but that broke early. I don't remember actually ever playing it. I just remember owning it because it was always broke or some shit like that. But I remember getting the Super Nintendo, and I had a N64, and all those games you guys like kind of talked about. I remember, I owned Super Mario World, Basic Instinct, Paperboy. I think I owned Final Fantasy later though, but and just those type of games. And I remember Mario Party and Mario 64, but none of it stuck with. Like if I look back now and I go, do I love those games? I guess I like them. And I
Mhm.
guess that proves maybe I'm just not like a Nintendo guy, or maybe it just I was a little bit too young. But like those games don't stick with me. Don't I'm so I don't like you talk about Super
Yeah.
Metroid and it doesn't do it for me. Like I go back and play those games now and I get bored as fuck playing a 2D scroller. Like I
Mm.
tried doing those RAMs and those like just shooting doesn't do anything for me. When I found like I was like and like bangs, my parents split and I remember my dad except I guess he wanted to seem cool. I remember he bought a PlayStation 1. We had
Nice.
at his house though. Never didn't get a
Right.
memory card though, so every time we played a game, we had to start over from like the beginning.
That's brutal.
But I just remember what really it sticks with me when it was like, wow, video games. I think that's something I'm into. Is I remember going to my neighbor's house and he had a PS2 and he was playing Metal Gear Solid 2 and
Mm.
he was playing Final Fantasy X, just switching on and off. And I used to just watch him for hours. And I wanted a PlayStation 2 so bad, but my mom couldn't afford one. And I remember like Easter morning, I went out and to get my basket from the Easter bunny or whatever.
Mhm.
I knew there was no Easter bunny. I'm a little bit older. Let's say what, 12 or 13. I don't know how old I was, but I had Grand Theft Auto 3. And I thought I was getting a
Mm.
PS4 for Easter, PS3, PS2 for Easter. I'm like, who the fuck gives a console for Easter? But it was just my mom saying, "Hey, I'll get you one eventually." But here's a video game. So I had to wait like
She
months.
got you a game you couldn't
Yeah,
play.
she got me Grand Theft Auto 3, and I couldn't play it.
That's
But it wasn't until
rough.
playing, and that's why today I don't know if it's just because those memories of sitting at my neighbor or whatever. To this day, like Final Fantasy 10 and Metal Gear Solid 2 are some of my favorite games of all time. And
Yeah.
I think that really sums it up where you know how I kind of bash Nintendo a lot even though I play Nintendo games. Nintendo games just don't do it for me. I think I don't want to play that platform.
Mm.
I like a story. I think I'm a little bit more on the hardcore side. I like a good story-driven game. I like an emotional connection with characters and a story, and I don't get that from a 2D side scroller, just shooter up, or even I don't get no, story connection with Mary. I don't give a fuck who rescues that princess or not. The end in dialogue is her screaming Mario or oh thanks for saving me and that's it and then yeah then bam off to whatever. I
Well,
like a good story driven game.
it's interesting to me because I was thinking about it when we were doing pre-show. In my head, I think that like we were talking about a moment ago, I go all the way back to NES and SNES, but I also remember sort of being over video games towards the end of the SNES life cycle.
Yeah, that's funny.
And
I understand that.
yeah, and I didn't. It wasn't until my buddy had an N64 and we were playing GoldenEye #1 and
That
Mario
was
Kart
good.
64, and then that those THQ AKI wrestling games started coming out, and it completely changed my mindset of what video games could be.
No Mercy was fantastic. That was mine. I
No
think that one of
Mercy,
my
yeah. Well,
favorite
and
ones.
No Mercy is like looks really nice, but I'm partial to Revenge as a WCW guy.
Yeah.
Um, but around that same time, Diablo 2 came out, and Red Alert 2, Command and Conquer Red Alert 2 came out on PC.
That was a fantastic game. I end that.
And like, yeah, and right around that time is when I really started thinking myself as a gamer. Like, I always played video games, but we were kids. Everybody played video games. It wasn't until that sort of 98, 99, 2000 period that I really felt like I was a gamer. So in a lot of ways, I think Vinny and I are kind of on the same wavelength.
Everything
as
you
far as
said,
that goes.
everything you said just kind of makes sense. Like Age of Empires 2 was a big one for me. I used to love playing that. Yeah, it's like I like those old Nintendo games. I like them. I can enjoy them. I don't have a emotional connection with them. I don't love. I love Mario Party and all them. I like them. I don't love them.
Yeah.
Well, when when your parents are divorced and your mom, basically ignores you, then you're gonna sit in your room and play video games and probably have a connection to them more than real people.
No, I get that. You're also a little I don't want to say this too loud, but you're a little bit older than us. So like your prime gaming years was that Super Nintendo and NES.
A little bit earlier, yeah.
A little bit earlier. Where like probably when me and Banks were fully starting to understand a lot of shit was that in his case N64, maybe GameCube and all stuff, and for me it was PlayStation 1 and 2, it was you really started building that understanding.
Sure. I've never owned a PlayStation. I don't know if I've ever even played a PlayStation game through the first PS to the PS1 to PS4. The only non-Nintendo console I ever had was an Xbox 360, and I liked that a lot.
Yeah, that's a good system.
You should you should update, because you don't do a lot of PC gaming because you don't have the big powerful rig. Well, I'm talking about to handle like the big AAA titles, right? I might be mistaken. And you don't have the new system. I feel like you're missing out on a huge library. I'm like, I don't homer. I play Nintendo games and all that stuff. I feel like because you've only had the Xbox 360 and not that big I feel like you missed out on a big gap of a huge library of great, fantastic titles.
The nice thing is those titles go on sale regularly, so they're not. You don't have to pay $60 a pop for them like you do with Nintendo.
Yeah, like what
fuck,
games
they're like pennies. They're like pennies on like the PS3 and Xbox 360s now.
Yeah.
What would I miss out on?
We could be here for.
Yeah, I mean, just off the top of my head, games that I played over the last couple of years on PS4. Until Dawn was really good. Assassin's Creed.
Never heard of it.
The Uncharted series.
Uncharted series is really good.
The Last of Us. You missed the whole Gears series on Xbox, which I liked. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big Halo guy, but Halo.
Yeah,
there's an Assassin's Creed game that I played on the Xbox 360.
Yeah, all the most of them were pretty good.
Yeah.
Only handful, two were great, and I'm just saying, like, if you're just an exclusive like Nintendo player, for whatever reason, you do miss out on a lot of a great game. Like the Grand Theft Auto series, for if you love them or hate them, they're fucking enjoyable. Sometimes the stories are good. Sometimes you just like fucking just blowing shit up and just shooting people.
Like what was it? San Andreas. I played the hell out of that game.
Yeah, and I'm not talking just either consoles. You get the same games on PC pretty much.
Sure.
I remember playing Grand Theft Auto 1, the top-down, barely two-dimensional game, and then 3 came out, and everyone's like, have you ever played Grand Theft Auto? I was like, yeah, I play it all the time. What are you talking about? It's really fun. And I was like, yeah, and they were explaining this game, and I'm like, that's not Grand Theft Auto. You know what I mean? I didn't even know 3 had come out, and they're like, everyone's going batshit crazy for
it's revolutionary. That's the birth of the sandbox.
Yeah. Well, then I had to explain to them that there were 2 games before that weren't exactly up to par.
Was it just called Grand Theft Auto 3, or did it have a city? Or
Grand Theft Auto 3 was the first 3D one, and that was just the name of it. Yeah, there was no.
Which one was San Andreas? Was that 4 or 5?
It was 3, Vice City, and then San Andreas.
Yeah, and then 5. So I don't know how that works.
No, it was 4.
No, it was 4 because it had the Russian guy.
Yeah, there's a 4 and then there's 5. Like the Vice City and San Andreas, even though they're independent games, they're just as big they're bigger than the other ones, or not 4 and 5, but they're bigger than 3. They weren't given numbered. You know why? Because they're timepieces. That's right. Because 3,
right, they were
3 took place in the present for then when it came out, and Vice City was in the 80s and San Andreas was the 90s, and 4 is back to modern, whenever it came out, 2010 or whatever.
Yeah, I briefly played 3 at a buddy's house. I didn't get into any of the 3D ones.
Oh really?
Aw.
Yeah. Well, I didn't. I had Nintendo systems, so
Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
know, um, was it wasn't on? No, it wasn't on the original Xbox, was it? I don't remember it being on there. I had the OG Xbox. I
I
had
don't
the
know.
GameCube. Then I had the Wii, and then I got the PS4.
I don't know.
So
I don't know. There's some games that I know you say you don't. New interests don't really the new stuff don't really interest you, but I don't know. Like the Fallout series is good. You know, if
Oh
you're into
man,
those type of
Fallout,
games.
4.
the one before New Vegas.
Oh, I don't know.
I forget. Wait,
3.
wait. There was New Vegas. Which?
3 was before New Vegas.
Yeah, and that one was really good, and the New Vegas was pretty good. And I did like those Fallout games.
Yeah,
But
I
then,
streamed
then
4
again,
for a little while. It was fun.
but that was Xbox 360. So
Yeah.
I guess there was a lot of Xbox 360 games I like relatively. Like
The 360 had a
four.
huge library. Same with the PS3. That
Yeah.
generation had huge libraries of great
10 years
AAA
worth
titles.
of games.
Yeah,
basically.
I remember for years going, I'm gonna get a PS3. I'm gonna get a PS3. I'm gonna get a PS3. I never got one, and then the PS4 was on the horizon, and I said, well, never mind. And to a certain extent, I kind of wish I had just gotten the PS3, just because there's like when I go to my buddy's shop and he's just got thousands of PS3 games, used PS3 games, sitting there for a couple of bucks a piece. You know.
So why don't you do it now?
Yeah, well, now because I have no money, but
Right. If you had money, would you do it now? I mean,
I don't know, maybe. Maybe.
Why aren't they backwards compatible, those fuckers?
The 3. If
It's
I had
something to do
the
with the
when I first bought the 3, I got the 60 gig model, the original one, which was backwards compatible with the PS2 games.
Mhm.
It's because it's not simple like a Nintendo system where just plug the disc in. There's all this like
Yeah.
code and the way it reads the fucking disc and all
Yeah.
that shit. The PS3 was supposedly very hard to. They kind of fucked up, and it took them years for companies to really figure out how to bank a game for it. And whatever it's used, the code or I don't. I'm halfway speaking at my ass, but whatever the code is or whatever, they didn't build that in the PS4 to save cost and shit. And they feel like and let's be honest, like games, companies want to try to. Well, Nintendo's the king of it. Try to sell you on nostalgia and re-release a fucking game remastered for you to buy it again.
Yeah.
So. I'm not.
Wow.
I was just. Yeah, I don't know where I was going. What my point was. I was just saying, if anything, if you only have been a PlayStation player your entire life, you miss out on Nintendo. I was just saying that
Yeah,
it
I
sucks
think
when people are
anybody-
just fanboys.
Yeah.
Basically,
Anybody that's
I'm missing
exclusive to one
fanboys.
is missing out.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, you only have a certain amount of money, and if like, let's say you had the first 2 or 3 Nintendo systems, it's like, okay, well, I might go to a Nintendo system again just because of
Mhm.
familiarity. I don't know why I went over to the
Yeah, but-
Xbox 360, but I mean, all the other stuff felt so foreign and looked so foreign to me. It's like, oh, what's an Xbox? I don't know. I know Mario. So
I kind of go like, yeah, in a way, like I had the Super Nintendo and N64, but like I went to PS2. Like I wanted nothing to do with the GameCube, or it was the GameCube, right? That competed with
Yeah. Yeah, after the
PS2.
64, yeah, GameCube, yeah.
Yeah, I just
See, I was they got me on the GameCube. The problem was the 64 had like 5 or 6 games that I absolutely fell in love with. So when the GameCube came out and they came out with the sequels to those games, I got sucked in. So as soon as like Double Dash and Smash Brothers came out on the GameCube, that I had to buy one. I had to get it. And I think at that point the system was only $100. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it was the same thing when I
Yeah.
bought the Wii. The Wii came down to $100, and I said, "All right, shit, I'll buy one." You know.
like, I never played Double Dash. I wish I did, because I heard
It's
it's like, it's
fun.
really unique.
Yeah, it's
Right?
way different. It's honestly, I didn't like Double Dash the first time I played it, and I didn't really care for it for a couple of years. But I went back and played it. I guess just later. I don't want to say. I was about to say I went back and played it as an adult, but I guess I was an adult when I played it the first time. But I went back and played it a few years later and really sat down and just kind of worked on getting familiar with that version of Mario Kart instead of trying to play it like I did the ones before it. And
Yeah.
I really got into it. Once you get past that learning curve, it's really fun. There's a lot of nuance to it. You'd be able to jump into it now because Mario Kart 8 has a lot of influence from Double Dash, so you probably wouldn't have any trouble jumping
And it
in.
looks like
But
the deluxe model coming out in April for the Switch is a lot of
yeah, it
Double
has some
Dash
of that in
feel.
it too. Yeah, but at the time it was way different.
Yeah. You know, I was thinking about something today, and it's kind of off topic from video games, but
Cock and
from
balls.
what you're saying, chocolate balls, yeah, I love them. She loves them. Everyone loves them. You know, when I've noticed now that I'm getting older, you know, people like Ona said that I'm getting a little like I don't pick up things as quickly, and not that I'm getting
A
stupid,
little
but
slow.
I'm getting dumb.
I think that comes
But
with just everyone just getting older. You don't realize
Yeah,
the new
you slow down.
slangs, the new terms
well,
that the kids use.
I also noticed like when I was young, like you're talking about Double Dash and you sat down and really wanted like to figure it out and do those sorts of things. Like when I was young, I would spend so much energy on trying to figure shit out. Like, you know, I spent all the like hours and hours and you have this sort of tenacity, this determination to try and figure shit out. And now that I'm older, it's just like I can't be bothered to spend hours on
I just
figuring anything out.
Yeah, that just comes down to volume, though. I mean, you've got 1,000 things to do. You've got 1,000 things you can do. I'm the
Yeah,
same way. I'm just it's not even about to me. That's not about aging. It's just about why am I going to spend X number of hours on this when I could not? You know what
Yeah,
I mean? I
well,
could spend it on anything else.
it could have
yeah,
nothing to do with age, and because of just the time we live in, with as
Yeah.
far as we're getting with technical
Yeah.
advances and
Well, because when you're a
technology.
kid, you might only have one game. You know, you got a game for
Well,
Christmas. That's the game you're going to play. Now you're an adult. You can, shit, you can go on Steam and buy 50 games for the price of one of those console games.
yeah.
And
but that
if you know,
went like you got to figure shit out more on your own when you're playing a game. You have to figure out for hours how to do it. When now you can just fucking go online and Google like how do you do this in this game.
that too.
True.
So,
You can do that for anything. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying.
you
That's why
know,
you get a little bit jaded or a little bit. Oh,
Mhm.
I don't feel like learning this for hours when I could just figure it out.
Yeah.
Watch a video on
Impatient.
YouTube.
You get impatient.
yeah, exactly. Totally impatient. So, you know, it made me wonder what amount of it is age and my brain actually slowing down, and what amount of it is just like I can't be fucking bothered to do to spend an hour trying to figure this out.
I guess it comes down to if you're trying to learn something and it's taking you longer to learn, that's your brain slowing down. If you're
Mhm.
realizing that you would have to learn how to do something and saying fuck it, that's not related to your brain aging.
Good point. Good point. But yeah, video games.
Yeah.
I don't give.
Yeah.
there-
I basically skipped the 2000s. Like I said, I had the OG Xbox and I had a handful of games, and then I was well, I don't want to say way late to the Wii, but I was probably mid life cycle on the Wii, but it was so cheap. So I barely even think about that. Like I said, it was $100 when I bought it. Games were regularly on sale for 20, $30. And it played GameCube games. So, it was backwards compatible with all the stuff that had come before. So,
And that's awesome.
yeah.
Even the fact that, you know, with the Wii U you could play Wii games. I think
Mhm.
that's great.
Mhm.
That's really cool. And you could use the Wii remotes, you could use like all that kind of stuff. It's really cool that they did that.
Yeah.
I feel like my
even
gaming. No, continue your point, Chris, because I was going to go in a different
no,
direction.
I was just gonna say they even made a freaking adapter so you could use your GameCube controllers with your freaking Wii U.
Oh yeah. But is it true it only works with Smash Bros?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
It only
bought
works
it.
with games that support it,
Yeah.
which is Smash Brothers. But whatever.
Oh well.
I feel like.
What were you saying, Vinny?
Well, I'm
Go
saying,
ahead.
you know what? I think as we're like adults now, we're older. I think our um, horizon of games and systems are just doing nothing but growing. Like
Mhm.
because when you're a kid, you're younger, a kid, you have to rely on your parent buying you that system. Or so, like your point earlier, Chris, you don't really have multiple systems. Or if you want a new game, you know how hard it is to try to get a new game out of your mother, unless the family has means and just give you whatever you want. Where say from my point, or for me, it was my I've said this many times. My dad always done well for himself, but it's not about game. Yeah, I'm not buying you video games. It's a waste of money. My
Right.
mom always worked hard and would love to give me anything she wanted, but she just couldn't. So like, you know, it's only on special occasions you got a new game. So a lot of that I factor into why I didn't play a huge whatever amount of N64 games, and maybe that's why I'm not like super into those consoles, because I just didn't have the means. I didn't have multiple games for them, you know. So maybe I didn't have my Christmas I used to love, because Christmas is when you got like 3 or 4 games because it was Christmas. But so
Yep.
it wasn't until like late PS2 or PS2 when like a lot of other people I knew had PS2, so you'd borrow games, or then like
Yep.
around PS3 is when or late PS2 is when I had a job. I started working, so I could buy my own games, and PS3 is when it really opened up. And then I got an Xbox on my own. But my point is, like, now as we're adults, and if we can, money's still tight, but if you could scrounge money, it's not like we could play other consoles and other systems, and it's just nice.
Sure. Well, did you ever have the Blockbuster thing with your
The game
parents?
renting?
Yeah, so they go to Blockbuster and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna get a movie." And it's like, "Okay, you can get a game."
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
used to.
rented
Yeah, I
games
used to
every
rent.
weekend.
I used to rent all the time. Yeah, but you only get them
Yeah.
for like
Yeah.
a couple days, and you give them back. And
Yeah.
I
So
did
that was one of my
GameFly.
dad's on the weekends. He'd rent movies and I'd rent a game, and that's what we did for the weekend.
I remember
for
before I
years.
had the NES, there was a local one of those mom and pop video game rental shops. It wasn't like a Blockbuster or anything. And I used to go, and I used to be able to rent the N64. I mean, not N64, NES. I used to rent the
Oh,
console.
yeah.
You rent
I
it for like
rented
a
a
couple
Genesis
days.
once.
Yeah, before I
Nice.
got my own.
Nice.
But that used to be great. It was just a little mom and pop. It was right at the corner, and fucking burned down one night.
Oh,
Under mysterious circumstances, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
someone left like a candle in the window, whatever. But it was awesome. We used to go there, and we used to the guy after school, and we used to trade Pokemon cards with him. He used to collect Pokemon cards. I'm sure he was ripping us off, but we used to trade them. And it was the days of VHS and everything was VHS. It was just wall to wall, because you used to get the copy you wanted, but the movie wasn't in it, obviously. And you'd go up, and they'd
Right.
have to search through the rows of fucking VHS cassettes and find
Yeah.
the movie and put it in there.
oh, Blockbuster. So many good memories.
I love Netflix, and I was an early adopter for Netflix, but I liked going to the rental and just browsing, and
Except when the new movie
Yeah.
you wanted came out, or new game, and it wasn't there, someone rented it.
well, yeah, there is always that. But
Or you could reserve. Sometimes you could reserve them.
yeah, you can
Uh,
reserve, and then towards the end of the whole rental market, they had like guaranteed availability. I mean, they would have hundreds of copies of whatever the new release was on movies, but I always rented games, so even if the new game wasn't available, there was still plenty of other games I'd be happy to rent. I mean, shoot, there was probably a dozen games I rented so many times I should have just bought them.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you spend that much money. I remember at Blockbuster, I bought a copy of Final Fantasy VII for PS1, and it was the greatest hits edition. It wasn't the original one, and I got it for like I don't remember how much, but it wasn't that expensive because this was already, I think PS3 was already out.
Mhm.
And I remember this was before maybe PS3 wasn't out yet, because it was before you can get just go on any console and buy a digital version of the game. And I
Right.
remember I wanted to buy a new TV, and I was selling shit. And I sold like my Game Boy and shit I wish I didn't sell now as an adult.
Yeah.
All I wanted
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
big screen TV. I was playing on this little 20-inch tube screen. I remember I sold that. I threw that up on eBay just for the hell of it. And I remember that motherfucker sold for like $90. And
Wow.
it wasn't even an original copy. It was opened, and it was the PS greatest hits one. So it was like what, $10-20 when you bought it. Yeah, fucking
20.
thing sold for like $90. Like when it probably sell for more.
Wow.
They either sell for less now because everyone can get it digital, or they might sell for a little bit more because technically it's a PS1 copy. But
Well, it's weird those top loading NES systems that were very rare.
Yeah.
Like they only sold them for one Christmas, and there was X amount. They used to go for a ton of money, and now they don't. I heard.
when you
they're
flip the top open and just put it in the game.
No,
Yeah,
they
it was
they,
like a
they
cartridge
released
system.
a Famicom version of the NES, towards the end of well, actually, not even towards the end. Well, within the SNES life cycle, they re-released the Nintendo, and it was top loading the way the Super Nintendo is. So you just
Yeah.
pop the game in the way the original Famicom was. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say because I remember my uncle had NES. I remember she used to play the fucking Duck Hunt. And that's a little bit before me, so I never had an NES. But I remember I used to go
Yeah.
over and you used to open the hatch and
Yeah.
push the
right.
game in. That's how
Right.
they all worked, right? I'm assuming.
Yes,
Yeah,
originally
Yeah,
that's
okay,
how they
okay.
were.
original ones, yeah.
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 And they were such a bitch to because they'd get dirty, and you'd have to like arrange it a certain way to actually get it to work.
Yeah.
And
The connector teeth would wear out incredibly quickly.
yeah,
Yeah.
Well, you know
I
what?
read
you'd
that
have
I read they did that so that it would look like a VCR, so Americans would be more
oh
comfortable with it.
god,
That makes
And
sense.
so that's why it's got the slide in, push down, because that's what most VCRs were like at that time. You'd put the tape in the carriage basically, and you'd push it down to engage the magnetic reader. And so that's why the original NES
wow,
operates like that.
total bad design
Oh,
choice.
totally bad design. Probably not a good business choice because, like I said, it was a concept that Americans were familiar with. But yeah, it was technologically it was terrible.
Yeah, freaking sucked. But then then they had the SNES that the top look. What did the N64 do? I can't even picture that console in my mind.
It was like the SNES. It was
Yeah, it was top
popped
loading.
into the top.
Okay. Yeah, and then they started going to discs.
Well,
And
then they
now I
had the
guess
64, yeah, and then they went to discs.
yeah. And what's Switch going to be? Like little SD cards? Proprietary
Proprietary
SD cards?
SD cards, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember everyone was losing their shit last summer because Nintendo's going back to cartridges. They're going back to cartridges. They haven't learned their lesson. And I'm like, carts hold more data than discs do at this point. Why wouldn't you go back to it?
What's the difference in other people's eyes anyway?
Well, in the past, like you look at the N64 as the example, games on the 64 were lesser than the games on the PS1 because the CD-ROM of a PS1 held multiple times over the amount of data that the cartridge for an N64 would.
Mm-hmm.
So you couldn't put as much game. You couldn't do full motion video on it. You couldn't do, high def sound because it just wouldn't fit. There wasn't enough space there. So the common thought process for the decades after that was that you have to have full size discs. So then when the GameCube came out and had the little mini discs, it was the same thing. Oh, Nintendo still hasn't learned, or they need to go to CD, blah blah blah. Then the Wii came out. Oh, they didn't go to DVD, blah blah blah. So it's just sort of a continuation of this narrative that Nintendo is retarded. And so when they're coming out with these carts, or when there was rumored that they were coming out with these carts for the Switch, it was the same thing. Everybody's losing their shit. But I'm like, yeah, but those carts are in the hundreds of gigabytes.
Yeah.
And sure, a Blu-ray disc will hold more than that, but that's also really expensive because you have to license the right to use Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And they're expensive to produce for, and they're expensive to actually put into production as far as stamping the discs. So anyway.
So are you saying if the cartridges are technically cheaper and Blu-ray is more expensive, shouldn't the new games not be $59.99?
Yeah, they should be not $59.99,
But they're going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how
Well,
much
but you know what though?
the-
I think that's going to bear out differently because we're looking at right now. Okay, they're $60, and PS4 games are $60. I think PS4 games are going to start going, and Xbox are going to start being 70. I mean, they already are because every game's coming out with 16 different special editions or pre-purchased DLC or season passes or whatever. So really, those games are more like $70, $80, $90 already. So
games have gotten like really fucking expensive. Well, I guess technically they've always been the same amount when you adjust for inflation.
Yeah, they're actually cheaper right now.
It's just
adjusted for inflation, but
just seems like a big hit. It's like it's almost over $100 to buy 2 brand new games. That's why I always buy like if it's something I need to play right now, I'll get it. Like if it's something I've been waiting for, but if it's a game like I have show some interest in, I'll wait till it knocks down to 40 or cheaper. If not.
I didn't work out this year, unfortunately, but I wait for Black Friday. A
To
couple years ago,
get it.
I got like 10 AAA titles for $120 on Black Friday 2 years ago or a year and a half ago.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's really good.
So I was hyped
What-
for this year. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna clean up. I'm gonna clean up, and there wasn't nothing.
Yeah, it
Like the
wasn't
games
great
that were
deals.
no, the good games that were on sale were the ones that I bought the year before.
Yeah.
They were the same price. So I
I
don't know
st-
if that's just because fewer games came out, since then.
Well,
But
actually, they're saying 2016 was a great year for games, supposedly, but yeah, I don't know. This year's been weird for games because I've been fucking half the year I've been unemployed, just in different spurts, so I haven't been able to like
Mhm.
get the extra money to buy. Like I've played a lot of different games, but a lot of it is either I got really cheap or it's been a lot of Steam PC games that are like I get for like $10 or and I use I use different. I don't necessarily buy it from Steam. I buy it from another website where it's like
Yeah.
50% off the actual price and stuff. So there's like I have a list of games from 2016 that I want to play once I get caught up. But it's nice because they're
Well,
cheap now.
yeah, I'm really digging Steam.
Oh, Steam's so great with their sales, especially they had the winter sale, and I was
Yeah.
buying Faster Than Light is normally $10. They bought it for $3.
Mhm.
I got some other games. Now, I think what's really cool, I don't know how recent of a thing it is, but these indie games that are coming out that are just great in their own right.
Yeah.
Like, I just got Undertale and I heard that's an amazing game. I haven't started it yet.
I watched that,
And
played through it. It seemed interesting.
Faster Than Light could have been a Super Nintendo game. It could have been
Yeah.
an N64 game, and it's for the price and the quality, it's
If
great.
if they're fun, that's all that matters, right? We talk about it all the time. It's the games.
Yeah.
So
What
Yeah.
I also, as great Steam is with all that, I actually just read a couple of articles that were saying that it's also a bad thing where they don't have a
Yeah.
filter, so they just
Right.
allowing anyone to put a game on there and it just gets swamped and good games get lost and
yeah, there is a lot
becomes-
of garbage on Steam to
it
go
becomes
along
too
with
much
it, but
garbage.
yeah.
Aren't there like viewer reviews and things like that, like the star ratings and all
Yeah,
that?
but if
but
you have
it's just
hundreds
not
of
very
games,
effective.
yeah, if you have
Yeah.
hundreds of games, there's probably
Yeah,
great games.
It is
getting-
difficult.
But
Yeah,
I mean, look, I figure if a game is obviously good games are going to get lost, but for me, there's only so much time, there's only so much money, so I'm going to have an idea what games I'm looking for. I just like the fact that they're regularly
Yeah.
on sale and
Well, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I still like having a physical disc or cartridge.
oh,
if
I
you
do.
will.
I do 100%. But for me with Steam, I'm basically taking flyers. $2, $3, $4 to play a game that I may love or I may not, but I've heard it's cool, so I'm gonna check it out. That's how I approach it. But yeah, if it's
Well, yeah, when it comes to PC, I have no problem with digital and like you said, Steam. But like if a big AAA title out, what I want on PS4 or Xbox One, I want.
oh yeah, no, I want the
I
disc.
I've never gotten a
Yeah.
AAA big title. I never did a digital download from a console. Like
Yeah.
I want the disc.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally with you.
Well, and like you said earlier with the Final Fantasy, you never know what disc is going to be worth something
Yeah.
down the road. But and also when you're doing digital downloads, you don't own it. You're just licensing it, so it can be taken away at any time.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So at
Or
least when you own the disc, you
improved.
own the game. Yeah, or improved. What
Patched,
sucks now?
whatever.
What sucks now is the always on requirement. Like I have games that are single player games on PS4 that if I don't have internet access, I can't play.
What games?
Ugh.
Because they made the
I-
big point of not doing that. Because that was an Xbox thing. Remember, Xbox always had to be on,
Yeah,
and it killed them
I
at E3.
I can't remember now which one it is.
'Cause I've never encountered.
I know
that.
Diablo 3, at least on PC, is
What's an
always
online
on
game?
requirement. But
Yeah.
well, it has an online component, but it's not. I mean, I play single player by
Oh, maybe 'cause
myself.
I never played. Because I was saying because I have a box full of 30 PS4 games. I've never had that encounter where it's like, oh, you can't play if you're not online.
I can't remember now off the top of my head which one I was trying to play, but it was a while ago.
Because
That's
that
lame.
was Xbox's. Remember the big reveal of PS4
Yeah.
and Xbox, and Xbox got hammered. They
Oh,
had
God, yeah.
they're still struggling to turn that image around. They're finally doing it, but it always had to remember it always had to be on, or a friend couldn't borrow a game because the game was licensed to
Yeah.
your account. It was bad for them, but I don't know.
I remember that whole time. People were just outraged. Like, oh, Big Brother, this, and
Well,
all that kind of
yeah, it
stuff.
just comes down to I'm paying $60 and I don't own the game.
Yeah,
I can't resell it if I buy the game and I don't like it, or if I just beat it and I want to sell it, I can't sell it now. You know.
Yeah,
cash
well, they're
grab.
trying to kill like places like GameStop and shit.
Oh yeah,
Which
100%.
that's how they make all their money. Like I'm a big user of used games. Like I love buying used from like a
Mhm.
GameStop or whatever. I know
Oh yeah,
Best Buy does it now too, but I never really bought used from Best Buy.
My problem with that whole market now is that the price, like they'll knock $5 off the price for the used game,
Yeah,
yeah. It's
basically.
and I'm
stupid.
just like
But
it's not worth it. And not unoften, that's not a word, I just made that up, but very regularly you can buy the game new on sale for less than the used price right there on the shelf, same store, you know what I mean? Like they'll have the brand new game for half the price of the used game, but they don't adjust the price accordingly.
yeah, when they go on sale,
Yeah.
you do get your deals though. I've seen play games that are still at GameStop that are still $60 new, and they have them used for 30. I've seen it, but and you have the pro membership. Day
Yeah.
one, it
Pro
knocks
membership.
$10 off. Uh, if it's a brand new game, if there's a used copy there, it knocks $10 off. $10 is $10. You're gonna buy a
Yeah.
bunch of game, and I love Game Informer, the mag. That's the only print magazine I still really watch. It's
I
my
can't
shit
believe Game
magazine.
Informer is still
Well, it's
in
around
print.
because it's
Yeah,
game. They have the deal of GameStop. So when you
Yeah.
get the pro membership at GameStop for $15, I think it's worth it. You get the extra five or whatever the pro member prices on used games, and you get a
Yeah.
free subscription to Game Informer for the year, and it's $15. That's pretty much what you're gonna pay for Game Informer anyway. That's the only print gaming magazine.
God, it hasn't changed. It had before GameStop. It was, at least here, it was FuncoLand. It was the same thing. It was $10 and you got, or maybe it was $15 and you got. You might have had a FuncoLand because it was a West Coast chain. They were all up and down the coast in Arizona, New Mexico, and I think in
it's
Texas. But
it sounds
um,
so familiar.
yeah, I loved FuncoLand. They were way better than GameStop, but it was also a different time. But yeah, it was, you bought the membership, but like Vinny said, you'd get an extra. I think it was an extra 10% on trade-ins, and maybe you got an extra 20% off or something. But yeah, it was worth it just because you got the subscription
Yeah.
to the magazine with it, and that was before the internet. So
Well, even
yeah,
now with the internet, I still like the print game, like Game Informer. I used to get GamePro, but they're not
yeah,
in business anymore. But you know what I like about it? Because I basically just use it in the bathroom. That's my shitting mag.
sure,
Um, you would think, oh, I could just get previews and reviews online, which you can. I'm not necessarily reading Game
yeah,
Informer for the previews and reviews, but they do some great articles. You'll do some articles about a company or it's something that you don't
Mhm.
know, and they'll do like a 5-10 page spread on them, and it's fun shit like that. It's a nice
yeah.
little
Oh,
read.
I can get behind it because I really don't seek out any game media. Like I read Kotaku and I barely read it. I just scroll through it really quick because there's rarely anything of interest on there. So I wouldn't mind actually having a physical magazine where um, where they're presenting it to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of me, because
Oh yeah.
I may not seek it out. They might show me something I never would have thought of to look up.
Yeah, like they'll do like a whole article on the history or like certain games that never saw the light of day, or the
Hmm.
the the making of a big game that you don't know a story behind. They'll do a couple
Hmm.
page spread on it. You'll get like 2 or 3 of those per magazine. It's just it's good reads.
Yeah, maybe I might have to go in and sign up. I have the Gamers Unlocked from Best Buy because I buy all my stuff there, but you don't get any magazine with it.
Hmm.
It's a good deal though. It's like $40 for 2 years, and you get
Not bad.
yeah, you get 20% off new games.
Wow.
And if you're into amiibos or game to life like Skylanders or Lego, you get 20% off that stuff too. So it's pretty nice. Pays
Where's
for
that?
itself
The
pretty quick.
the Best Buy one you said?
Yeah, Best Buy. Yeah, yeah. They talked me into it when I bought my PS4 because they threw in 2 years. Oh no, they threw in an extra year of PS Plus. Is how it worked. And then
Yeah.
I was buying 3 games that day, so I did the math, and I'm like, well, I'm basically getting it for free, and I'll probably, I'm sure I'll buy more games in the next 2 years. Well, when I did that Black Friday deal, for instance, I mean, that price I paid, that's with the 20% off for everything. So I was, I got a huge discount on all those games.
Right.
And then when we got into Lego Dimensions, and it didn't even occur to me, I bought some, whatever sets off the website, and I noticed that the prices were way lower, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And I went back and looked, and it was because we were getting the Gamers Unlocked price, the 20% discount. So, I hate having to pay into a club like that, but I mean, you pay for, like, I had to renew it. It expired this last year at the end of 2016, and I wasn't going to renew it. I was just going to wait until I was going to buy a game, because there's no restriction. If you renew it today, or you sign up today and you're buying a game today, you get the discount today. So there's no real incentive to keep it. But I wanted a couple of Wii U games. I think I bought Mario Kart that day, and I bought I don't even remember, Captain Toad and a bunch of other stuff. I bought like 6 games, so all those games went from 60 to 40 immediately. So
Nice. That's
makes it worth it pretty quick.
Well,
So-
it's kind of like Costco. Like, you buy the
Yeah.
membership, and you got to
Yeah.
make sure that you don't waste that $50 or whatever.
We have
like-
executive. It's 100.
Oh,
I
you got to go there all the time.
remember I did Costco because I needed tires, and they were having a great special on tires or some bullshit. So I signed up for a membership there. Where I never went again really to buy shit, but I you know how you get like a second person you could put on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You split the cost.
I gave it to my mom. I was like, here, and she, that was at years at this point, and I just transferred the membership to her at that now. But she loved it. That's where she did, most of her big. food
Costco
shopping.
used to come in to my office, my old office. So this is now almost 10 years ago. They used to come in every year and get people to sign up in groups of 4. So you'd split the membership 4 ways, and you'd all get a card.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like, that was a drive they would come in and do to try to sign people up.
that's a good deal.
Yeah. So, $25 a year when you're splitting it 4 ways, you can't go wrong, really.
Why not?
Yeah.
Especially, when I was still eating meat, I'd get these big bags of chicken breasts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The
And
frozen
those
chicken
are
breasts,
quality.
get them all the time.
They were complete quality compared
Yep.
to what you can get in a grocery store.
Ca-
And-
Costco's
Oh yeah,
just-
they're way better. Costco's
It's
amazing.
fucking yeah, it is amazing.
Yeah.
They're cooked, like we used to get like wings from there once in a while, and that shit was good too. Like their cooked shit that you could get, like
Yeah.
their pizzas.
Yeah,
and
the
stuff.
rotisserie chickens and the
Yeah. But I wanna have you guys? If you follow me on Twitter, you know what show I'm about to talk to. But have you guys watched Black Mirror yet on Netflix?
No, I've heard that it's really good, but I haven't watched it.
I
No
homered
idea.
out super hard on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter,
Yeah.
you guys, you two especially, and anyone listening, watch that show. I'm almost done with it's 3 seasons, but the fucked up part is season 1's only 3 episodes. Season 2 is only 4 episodes, and season 3 is 6.
Are they like 2-hour episodes, or?
No, they're like an hour episode.
Oh wow, just short, huh?
The first 2 seasons are British, and then Netflix bought it, and it's more Americanized now.
Ah, okay.
But
That's why it's longer now.
this is why you got to watch the show. It is absolutely. If you're a fan, are you guys a fan of the Twilight Zone?
Yeah, yeah.
It
original.
is a modern day Twilight Zone. So at first, I watched the first episode. The first episode you gotta stick with. I'm like, if this is a series, I don't know which way it's going. Because I normally don't like British shit. I'm not a big British fan. So I was like, the series. But then it was okay. It ended. It got good towards the end. Then I'm like, all right, I'll stick it out as a series. I go to episode 2 and it's a whole new cast. I'm like, what the fuck? It's an anthology show. I didn't know that. Every episode's different. Every episode's a whole new show, and it's without any spoilers. The best thing I can tell you is it's a modern day Twilight Zone. For like a little hint, there's little pig fucking in the first episode, and just to explain
That's tame for this
like
show.
like the theory of it, like the episode 2, no spoilers, but it takes place in most of these episodes take place in a high technology utopia, and there's always something fucked up going on. Like this episode 2 is kind of like these guys for life. They go in and they spin a bike. They sit on a bike and they spin a bike, and it accumulates points. And they can play video games and stuff, but it accumulates points. And everything they do in life takes points. If they brush their teeth, the toothpaste costs points. And it's all they trigger their finger and the toothpaste comes out. And they can watch porn and it costs points. Play games
It's
costs
like
points. But every day,
It's like the
yeah,
company store.
yeah, and food. They wear these gray jumpsuits, and any food they want, an apple costs points. But they have to just keep spinning on the bike to get points. If you reach 0 points, you're pretty much fucked. And you got to save up to like you have a way out by competing on a show that is like an America's Got Talent, and that's your way out. The judges like you. You have your way out, and whatever. And it costs like 15 million points to get there. I don't.
That was an
And-
episode of Sliders, I think, too.
Oh, I like it. Oh, I'm not probably not explaining it great, but if you're not watching fucking Black Mirror on Netflix, you need to watch. If you like Twilight Zone at all, or just like that high suspense show where there's always that twist somewhere in the show or some real fucked up thing. You guys gotta watch it.
We'll definitely check it out here because I love the Twilight Zone and Taryn loves British TV. So
Good. Once you watch it,
Yeah.
I want you guys to text me.
Black Mirror.
Yeah, Black Mirror. It's on Netflix. But
right.
I want you guys to shoot me a text when you watch it. I want to know what you guys think of it. But yeah, anything you guys been watching that you've been into?
We've been years ago. Taryn started watching Star Trek: Next Generation, and actually, that's a lie. She started watching Voyager, and then I convinced her to watch Next Gen, and it's just kind of taken, years to get through it. So we're in season 7 now. We're halfway through the final season, and so we're kind of marathoning through this last season. Like we're kind of at the end, so we're sort of binge watching Next Gen. And then I have the movies. She's never seen any of the movies. So I got a Blu-ray set. I got it on special one time. It was like $20 for the Next Gen movies on Blu-ray. So we're going to watch those next.
Do you watch Generations with that? Or is that considered original series?
Oh. No, yeah. It's Generations, First Contact, Insurrection, and Nemesis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure. I see you guys talking about Unfortunate Events. We binge watched that like 2 weeks ago. Taryn loved it. She loved it. I did not care for it.
You not care for it. Good.
It's really well made. The first, because the first 2 episodes, the Unfortunate Events is kind of in chunks, so it's like in groups of 2. So there's 2 episodes have a theme. Next 2 episodes are kind of a theme, and so on and so on. It's an overarching storyline. It's following these 3 kids, but every group has kind of a different arc. What's his name? Neil Patrick Harris is bloody brilliant in it. He's so good, but the series gets really repetitive, and it's sort of predicated on everybody but the kids being stupid, like really stupid. And I couldn't hang with it.
I remember watching the movie they made with Jim Carrey.
Yeah, I never saw it. I never read the books either. Taryn read the books, so she's into the show.
I need shows to binge watch. I'm in a binge watching craze. All my shows are still on vacation or I'm caught up.
You guys,
did you ever watch Luke Cage?
No, I don't want to watch Luke Cage.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I like Punisher, but I don't want to watch Luke Cage because I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Luke Cage. Or the other chick.
No.
Yeah, I watched Lost.
No.
It like everyone says, it gets weird and stupid and whatever, but I watched it.
Cool, fair.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
I'm watching Gotham right now. That came back, so I watched Gotham.
I haven't watched that yet.
It's good. Yeah, I don't know. Walking Dead's gonna come back. Black Sails, which I binge watching. I think that's a phenomenal show. Also, that comes back.
That's the pirate hooker butt sex show.
Yeah. A lot of butt sex, a lot of pirate fucking. It's a good show. I think it's good. All right, guys. The Royal Rumble Sunday. I know we're not going to talk.
Making Chris watch it.
Yeah,
I'm very excited.
I'm gonna have to skip my stream to watch it.
I told you that was gonna happen. I told you.
All right,
and that's what you said then too. You're like, oh, it's okay.
We're not gonna get super into wrestling because
Chris, you've never watched wrestling, right? Like ever?
I am aware of wrestling. I'm sure
you've probably seen a match, but you've never watched a show.
I've never followed wrestling.
Okay. Yeah.
Close enough. Yeah. Okay, you're right. Fine. I've never watched an entire show.
Yeah. Okay.
He's gonna get.
How long is this thing?
This is gonna be fun.
Couple hours.
How long?
The Royal Rumble is really fun. You don't have to be a fan of wrestling to watch the Royal Rumble. That's what's great about this show.
Chris, with all those men oiled up with their shirts off, you're gonna have a good night. And
Chris is just gonna be asking me. He's like, "Why is that guy's hair so wet?"
Yeah.
It's just always over and over and over again. No, but it's gonna be great. We'll
The women
we'll
are
watch it together.
sexy.
We'll hop on the Discord. I'll to explain what's happening. And
Okay.
honestly, in this day and age, they do so many. They spend so much time on replays and like recaps of what's led up to this moment that you don't even have to. I haven't even watched wrestling. I watched Raw and SmackDown this week because I had the time. But I mean, I've probably watched 4 or 5 of each of those all year. So
I think the actual Rumble kicks off at 7, or the event, I should say. But the pre-show's at like 5 or some bullshit. My time, Eastern Standard Time. So whatever that.
Oh yeah, no, we're not gonna. I'm not gonna make them watch the pre-show.
No, 2 hours.
That's like an extra 2 or 3 hours on an already 4-hour. No,
Yeah.
because it's a 4-hour special. I wouldn't. Even I don't want to watch that. So
Okay.
yeah, no, we're gonna watch the whole pay-per-view, which is gonna include the singles matches and then the actual Rumble event itself.
Yeah.
So we're gonna it's gonna be the whole program. But
And then next week, Chris is
nice.
going to give us his recap on how he felt about.
Chris is gonna give us a book report.
Guy in the red shorts got this other guy
Watch-
and this chick and her tits pop
Watch
out.
him like just become a hardcore wrestling fan now.
No.
The Rumble's the way to do it.
That's what I do.
We'll see.
But
We'll see.
guys,
I didn't get some popcorn.
yeah,
get
guys,
some
I believe we're out of time.
Oh yeah.
We talked a while today about nothing. We bitched a lot. We talked video games. We talked some movies. We were all over the place this week. Guys, thanks for joining us. If you're watching this on replay, thank you for listening or watching again. Don't forget to hit that like, follow, leave a comment, whatever. Just say fuck off if you want. If you don't forget to subscribe on iTunes and Google Play, and if you do, please give us a star rating. Leave us a review if you feel like it. Anything you guys want to say or promote before we take off?
Same stuff we promote every week.
Yep, Mr. Kristopher everywhere.
Yeah.
Cool,
guys, I had fun. Thank you.
Indeed.
And
I do want to promote one thing.
Sure.
Sorry, I just remembered I have another show. Every Thursday on my channel, I'm doing speaking of pro wrestling, I'm doing a wrestling show every week with This Loud Thunder. It's gonna be Thursdays, 6 o'clock Pacific on my channel, twitch.tv/BangsMichael, Hot Tag TV.
there we go. I joined for a little bit, and if you do like wrestling, it's a good conversation. Yeah, it's good to get involved. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Everyone have a fantastic weekend and a great night. For Mr. Kristopher, Bangs Michael, and myself, toodaloo.
Peace, love, and soul.
Love you.